turn that on for you.
Morning.
Web. Now we're recording right now.
I know we are. We're going to talk about things. What? Saturday morning. I'm glad to see everybody here.
Where is my camera?
I know. Mine's sitting in front of me, but it ain't on.
I gotta turn that darn thing on.
Do it later. We'll do it at the end. Doesn't matter.
Okay. I'll go look for it. Get started.
You go look for it. You go find the thing. All right. Okay.
Okay.
One of the major reasons that a lot of us even has been taking a look and been developing in WinDev is because of the mobile device stuff. I primarily work with Android devices and Android development, which the first version that came out, you could put some pretty screens together, and I guess you could do one or two things, but nothing major. Most everything was localized to the device itself, so you really didn't have a lot with it. My problem with it was I really wanted to use it for business aspect. If you look out there on most of the App Store stuff, it is games, it is things like that working away. So I wanted to get away from the games and stuff and start saying, okay, we got a $400 piece of equipment, we got a $200 piece of equipment, and then I want to be able to use it for the business, for the tire stores, for different things like that. And by doing that, I can start building software and stuff that we can use. One of the things that I've got out there is the Project Pro, which everybody's kind of off and on seen on different things. What I want to be able to do is take the information from the Project Pro and move it over to the mobile device and allow us to work with it. Just a second, guys. I got a friend of mine is asking us how to get in, and I'm going to give it to him real quick, if you don't mind. Okay. So anyway, the Project Pro, what I want to be able to do is manage the projects or manage the tasks, manage the different things on my mobile device. One of the things that we'll be doing for next year that is tentative, that's got 3 out of 5 votes right now, and I'm just fixing to let Arnold know he's going to be the 4th, we had a desktop little chatterbox project, and what we're going to be doing is for next year's DEF CON is open sourcing that and going through all the processes of that, including building an entire interface for the mobile device for it, for the Android, and probably at least the Windows 8, since both of those are really heavily supported. We'll have to see what version 18 comes out with the iPod or iPad to see how much we can do with it. But if we can, we're going to be looking at next year open source classes and open source type instruction to build that entire project, and it'll be nice. It'll be nice when we start setting out the feature set and the items that we're going to be learning. But anyway, the mobile device itself is going to be one of the next big things as far as business is going to be concerned, and how we're going to move from our current laptop type system to be a more of a traveling and being able to get to the cloud and doing different things like that on our mobile devices. I've got a Zoom, Motorola Zoom is what I have. about a year old. I've got a little carrying case with it with a USB keyboard, 80% keyboard. And for those that know me, I have a size 15.5 ring, so it's kind of real fun to do an 80% keyboard. But we work it pretty well, and I can run business apps on it. I've already got one out there now, which is what I call Mobile Fog Bugs, which does fog bugs tickets. And I'm wanting to move a couple more things out. Those that also have been around have seen the classes that I work with and the different things like that we kind of get put together and use for our systems. And then this allows us right at the moment, and I've actually been talking and sending off some stuff to PCSoft, suggestions and stuff for PCSoft, is there's some pieces that don't work perfectly between all three. So the classes that I built for WinDev and works with WebDev both won't work 100% on the mobile. It'll work about 80% on the mobile, so we've had to make some adjustments there, which is fine. Okay? Not a big deal. But irrespective, let's kind of go through the process first and talk about what needs to talk with what, and then let's get down the communications part of this, because I don't think there's really too many of us out here that can't design a screen, okay? And that's all fine and dandy, but putting fields on a screen and stuff, that's one thing. Being able to talk to those screens and be able to transfer the information back and forth to me is primarily important, okay? So there's a couple, 2, 3 things that we deal with. Number one is that we have a couple of ways to discuss things between our mobile device and our systems. Number one is we have the WinDev is what I build my web services in. Web services is the primary way to discuss things or send information back and forth to your mobile device. The second way is using sockets, which we haven't quite got into yet, but we've got some inroads into developing sockets, and it seems to be working fairly well. The difference between the two is that web services, obviously, depending upon how I build them, I can actually have anybody and any device that's capable to be able to access it and give themselves their own setup of it via XML or whatever it is. But basically, I can send them the information as I desire. Okay. Also, I can communicate with my own products developed in WinDev, and I can develop also products either in or out of web pages that allows me to discuss things with them via web service. So it's kind of real open door. Okay. You do have to be careful with that. You don't want to have anything that is real open. In other words, I can't send a string of any type that allowed to be executed to the database, stuff like that. So you will avoid SQL injections, things like that. So keep that in mind. Number two, you also will need to have the WAS server set up on a web server. So if you've already got a web server, all it is a service type on there. I'll show you that and the distribution of it, which is not very difficult because I made a change and I got to distribute it out there anyway. The rest of it is just how to talk to each other. There are nice features in WinDev that's called serialization and deserialization. These are items that allows you to automatically take the data you have and put it in a format for transfer and then deformat it to be able to work with. And we're going to go through that process. As a note, the serialization will work for anybody. The deserialization is your issue. What you'll need to do is determine 2 things, and I'll get into it. When we were at GGIE, when we were at the WXDevCon, we went through a process where we received the XML from a serialization, and at that time, I could not get the deserialization to work properly. So what we had to do is basically hand describe or hand decipher the entire XML stream. since then, I figured it out. It seems a little strange. I sent it in because I thought it was a little strange. It seemed a little bit odd that I would send it as I could build it as ASCII, but I had to send it as a buffer. So I'm going to show you what the heck that problem was. But either direction, it allows you to get to the data, and I want to show you the easiest way to do that. A web service, I don't know if anybody's built one yet in WinDev. There is already a WX Live DevCon or WX Live webinar on building a web service, so I'm not going to get into that entirely. But suffice to say, they're not very difficult to do. I still have the classes in this system, and you can see those classes here where I've got the different classes that I'm going through. One I'm going to work with right now to kind of show you how things work is my project class. This class here, all it does is gives us a listing of all the projects in the system that we're working with. That's what it does. It's a straightforward select statement out of a Postgres database. We have a Postgres database. Note, if you set up a web server on a 64-bit and you want to use Postgres, 64-bit Windows and you want to use Postgres, then you must install the 32-bit WAS server. They do not support the 64-bit driver of Postgres. It's not there. So make sure you install the 32-bit WAS server, okay? Just that Pete and I went through that for a little bit until we finally figured that one out.
Well, that sucks.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that suggestion's in, and I found out that because I also got Mark Bevan involved with it and Tim, and basically, according to Claudia, she's received quite a few suggestions for it. So if it's coming up on their radar, it may be in one of the 914 features or version 19. Who knows? You know, something like that. So it's you know they'll everything's going 64-bit, so I kind of expect to catch up. But one of the other things is that obviously Pete and I were really head up on the Linux version of Postgres, and that's not available either. So we're hoping that they do both at the same time.
So on all your servers, Pete's been putting the 32-bit version up on the server.
Well, he tried the Linux.
Yeah, I've been doing 64-bit. I built a 32-bit last night, and the install has a 64 and a 32-bit directory, so you just install out of the 32-bit. And to be honest, and this was one of the other things that Andy and I have been playing with and doing some timing, is if you have less than 4 gig of memory, not sure that the 64-bit isn't costing you instead of helping you anyway.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. So anyway, I've got it all working on Postgres and showing off different things on Postgres, so it seems to be working all right. We're obviously looking for a more reasonably costed Windows server than Rackspace. They got excellent prices on the Linux stuff, but their Windows is a little bit more expensive than what we want to pay. So we've been hunting around for a deal like that. And as a blatant plug, we are looking. I am looking for a couple, and we are looking for a couple of people that want to host with us, ready to host their application. They'll receive a little benefit from being the first two and going through the pains and agonies of being the first two. But we're ready to accept some web hosting. Okay, so anyway, all it's going to do is going to grab that data, is going to put it into a format we can work with, and we're going to present it back to the mobile device, is what we're going to do. In order to do this, there was a couple of mistakes that was made in a previous version of the system, of a webinar. One of them has to deal with is the question of whether or not that you needed to be able to initiate the connection inside the procedure you're calling. That is not the case. you can have a global connection, especially using classes. Now, it may not be using direct access, but definitely for the classes, you can definitely use a global connection and do things. So it's not really a problem at all. Now, what it is, what I've done here is the project itself. I've got one thing where I'm passing a parameter, which is the developer. I need to know the developer's name or the ID number of the developer. So I've passed that as a value to the procedure. I instantiate my class, which is the project class. As you can see here, I set the filter for it. I go ahead and assign the connection to my class of my global connection, and I set a return buffer. All right, let's talk about that. Yeah, for those that were in the WX DEF CON when we went through this procedure, we had this as return buffer instead of buffer as being string. Okay, the return buffer is string, and I'm going to actually set that as a string so that way we can see both of them. Actually, when you create this serialize return buffer to PDS XML, it actually creates you a full-blown XML stream. Okay, so you can see it, you can work with it, you can do everything you're doing with the XML and not have any problems. The only problem is the mobile device can't accept it. They cannot deserialize it. They can accept it, and you can manually parse it if you want to. But I'm trying to be lazy, I'm trying to be easy, and I think that the tools should do it. So when we get over to that, I'll show you what happens. But in essence, right at this moment, I can look at this, and if I'm sending it out to anyone I want out there, I could literally add a second parameter and tell it I want to send back a different, instead of the buffer being string, I want to send it back as a buffer type. I can go either direction. Let's kind of run this a little bit, and I'll show you what happens as we go through it.
So you do it as string first, just so you can see what comes through, then you change it back to buffer? Is that what you do?
The biggest thing is I want to see if I'm getting the data. There's three parts of this that I want to do. Number one is am I getting valid data? Am I getting what I'm looking to get? And then I step through the communication cycles, because it's not a direct access anymore. I mean, I'm literally going through what, 3 layers? I'm going through my data layer. I'm developing an XML layer to send out. Then I'm sending it out, and then I'm receiving it. So I want to make sure that each one of those communication pieces are working properly in order to make sure that I'm not broke somewhere and start hunting down a rabbit that ain't there. So am I in this server here, this is my web server? I want to go ahead and run this and say, what do I want to do first? Well, what I want to do is stop it about right here and run the procedure. And I'm just hitting F9 to do this. And what I got here is, let me put the debugger over here so we can see that. Okay? Because that's one of the important pieces. And we're sitting on the buffer. Now, if I look in the return buffer, right now the return buffer is blank, as you can see. It's blank right there. It's blank. If I step one more through it on a string buffer, now I have the entire SOAP. Okay, I know it's probably a little bit hard to see. I don't know if it won't scroll larger or anything like that. Sorry. I'll leave it up there for a moment. But you can see that what you have there is the full schema or the full layout of the record structure in an XML format to send out. That's what you have. So leave that up there for just a moment while I sip on my coffee.
I can see that pretty good, though.
Yeah, well, it depends on people's screen sizes and stuff. I don't, give them a few moments, just take a peek at it. And that's all fine and dandy. And if you're, and bottom line is if you're opening up your web services for anyone to get to that you're allowing to get to your web services in the first place, this is the format you want to send out. You send this out, you give them a layout of that format, and you tell them, there you go. Merry Christmas, have at it. Okay? And this certainly gives you the ability then of being able to give or present some of your data out to other items or other areas fairly easily. Because all they have to do is call your web service and get this, and they're off and running. So it's fairly straightforward. Now, for the difference is that when you go to the mobile device, and let me shut that procedure off. When you go to the mobile device, this is where life changes on you. Okay? We're going to do the Julia Childs version. This is the receive side. This is where I'm deserializing it, as you can see. The problem is that this right here, if I do a string, you get the line here that says, no syntax of deserialize is compatible, which is obviously, for lack of a better term, cryptic to me. Because if you look up the syntax for deserialize, the thing says, that's what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be the array field or the structure that you're putting it in. It's supposed to be the buffer. And the only thing you can use on Android is PSD XML. So you think, okay, they broke something. What I finally figured out is this needs to be buffer. It does not need to be a string, and then it will work. Problem is, that means your sending side also has to be a buffer. You have to send buffer to buffer, right? So that's the reason why this got changed to buffer. Now, if we run this same thing on this side as a buffer, obviously you're going to get something in your debugger that you're going to go, huh? It really isn't that good, but let me show you what it looks like anyway. So the first step through this, I do it as a string so that way I can say, oh yeah, I'm getting my data. Then I want to see that I'm getting this correctly, so I'll do the step through that. As you can see right now, what I got now is binary, or basically hexadecimal.
Oh, that's not bad. Pete knows all that.
Yeah, Pete knows all that stuff. Okay. But that's what I got. Okay. You can change it to text, which will give you it, but all it is a bunch of tabs, and it's got the different things in it, but you can see it in the direction. Okay? But that's what you're sending. Okay? Now, let's go to the other side. We know that we're sending this side over here, and we're getting data now, so if I publish this, I should get everything we want. Before we go up there and publish it, let's talk about the receiving side. All right, now right there, what I've done is gathered the data up, and I'm sending it off to my mobile device, or whatever's calling this web service, I should say, more than anything. It's whatever's calling the web service. Now I want to update that same data. I want to say, if the mobile device changes the name or respells a project, adds a project, whatever to it, I want to be able to send it back. What you can see here is that I've got a procedure called update company with a buffer coming back to it. I go ahead and set up my project structure. I instantiate my class, I deserialize it, and I call my project rec_save. I'll tell you what that means. As you can see, I put an action type at the bottom end of the structure. All of those guys coming from our old language to our new language. Here's one of the coolest things that deal. Everything is loosely coupled. It is not tightly coupled. In other words, if I set up a structure for this and I say source to file, or memory to file, or file to memory, what it does is it matches up each one of the field names, as many as it can, and puts the data in there. That means I can add extra fields onto the bottom of a structure, on the bottom end, or anywhere actually. I can denormalize, I can do whatever I want to it, and I'm only going to get the data in the fields that belong to the matching names. Okay? It's like the deep assign that we used to use. Okay? So what I've done here is I send the action type along with it, to my mobile device. Yeah.
Andy, so are you saying the deep assign is actually a smart deep assign and only assigns matching names?
Absolutely.
So that's kind of cool then.
I know. So what this does is this allows me to send the action type to the mobile device, and depending upon what they do, I set the action type and I send the whole thing back. Okay? I don't send back what just changed. I send the whole record back, and I send that it's an add, or I send it's a modify, or I send it's a delete. Now I've got every field that's there that's supposed to be in my record structure. I send it back the same way I received it, and I've got the ability to say I want to add, change, or delete the record. And it's all in the array. It's all in the array I sent. So when I receive it back, this buffer here, which is basically the same record structure, it's a single element out of that array, or one structure of the array. I bring that back. I have to define it locally in order to put the buffer results into it, and then I call the rec save, which is nothing more than a straightforward deal of memory to file, which moves all of the memory elements to the file elements, and then switch the action type to whether I need to add, change, or delete. That's all I do. Now, to make this all work, okay, we've gone this far, we've seen the buffer, we've seen this, we need to publish it. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go ahead and the first thing I do is I go ahead and recompile anyway, just because for fun. And then I do a generate the web service. What do I want to send? I send all that. What I want to anybody get into, I only got one thing for them to get into. They don't need to get into any of the classes. Besides that, it doesn't recognize them decently anyway. And then you go to the WebDev application server, allow that, deploy it remotely, let it generate it up. Get all the pieces. And we're going to let her gen. Now, here's the second test that I'm going to do. Okay? If you notice what it does is it gives you a WSDL down here at the bottom. It gives you an index here also. I'm going to open up the WSDL and let me do a couple things here.
Did it actually go put it up there?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, this is the WSDL that it generated. This is a standard WSDL. You can WSDL. You can send it out to anybody. You can tell them where it is. Basically, everybody can get to it, and they can be able to use your WSDL anytime you want. Okay, so it's nothing special, nothing rocket science about the process at all. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to get into here is actually we're going to test this, and I'm going to hit the index side. Now what this does is it brings up from the web server every item that we can pull data from. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and do a fetch members because that comes back as XML only, and we can see what's going on there. Let's put in 1 and 1 and test it. Well, I guess no, I do have that coming back as binary. You can see that this is the buffer being returned. That's the data in the buffer being returned. So that's working. Let's go to my projects, put a 1 in there and test it, and now I've got projects. Okay, so now what I know is even though I can't read it, I know that if I call my web service, I should get back this buffer of data. That's what I should get back, right? Anybody lost so far? If you've lost, click your hand up. There's a little button at the top here. You can raise your hand.
Here, let me, or put a note on the chat
or something like that. If anybody's lost so far, okay. It's all not. I mean, to be honest with you, this is about as straightforward of a process once you get down exactly how to do the serialization, deserialization that I've gotten into. And we do some PHP web services, and we talk to PHP web services. And I can promise it's not the same. It's a pain in the backside. Yeah.
So you like this?
Oh, this is much, much easier. Much easier. And the fact is that you can generate web service for anything you got in your system, and it doesn't matter. PHP can pick it up. Anybody can pick it up.
A whistle.
Yeah, it's their problem to decipher it, not yours. You know, you give them the XML and say, there it is, and it's up to them to decipher it. You know, they got to build the XML system to take it out. Okay, so let's go to the next step. Now, we've adjusted all those. We've got those. This is what you're sending, everybody. We're done with this. Now, let's go to the mobile device. That's the wrong one. Where are you at? Okay. Now, I'm still in this same system. I haven't moved it to the mobile, and I can test everything here just as if I was on the mobile device. Okay, so the only mobile device myself, to me, right at the moment, is nothing more than distributorship. And what I want to do now is I want to test this fetch piece. Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to test this, and I'm going to stop it here, and we're going to hit the go button here. Okay, what that's going to do is run the emulator. See if I can get this down here. Let's stop right there. And we're going to step through this. So you can see I've got the array, get rid of whatever array I have now. Return the buffer as a buffer. Rec is the project structure, which is the same as on the other side. And then I'm going to fetch the projects. Okay? Well, as soon as I'm done with this, I'll go back on getting the WSDL in here. Okay? That I forgot to show you guys, so we'll back the truck up a little bit and then go through it again. When I'm doing that, that went over to my WAS server. That went over to my server and returned that buffer. As you can see, there's the buffer information. That's the same stuff again. So I returned back what I was looking for, didn't I? Okay. I've got the text of everything that was returned. I've got everything that was over there. Now I just want to go ahead and see what's in there. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to deserialize it. Oh, didn't like something.
So when you deserialize it, then we can see what it looks like, right?
Yeah. Four member. Did I take one or not? I think I may have missed one here. Hang on, guys. Now, why would you four-member not? This is the bad part. It was working last night. Okay. Leave it up to fun stuff to do here. Okay, wrong serial. Okay, let me compile this. It didn't compile. Or did I not do it? Did I leave it as string on the? No, I didn't. I had a buffer. That should work. Let's see what we got going now. It's saying it's receiving it in the wrong format. Wrong serialization format. That's what it's seeing. Red buffer is buffer. That looks like a buffer to me. Why would you think you're not getting it right? Let's check my WAS server. Maybe I did something incorrect there. Let's do the member one because I know I didn't change anything on it. So we'll go to the member one instead of the project one. So let's go here and do this one instead. Yeah, we can do it there. Okay. Okay. And then well, you're just not going to like it at all. It's like all of them broke. AR base member not found in class. Okay, boys and girls, I messed up something here when I was working on this. So let me take a quick look and see what I'm doing wrong here. That's buffer. Serialization to buffer. Project fetch data. Result buffer. Okay. Members. Sprint. Members should be easier. So I did that one raw. Okay. Let's recompile again. Maybe I need to refresh my WSDL. We'll redeploy this, and then refresh the WSDL and see if there's any issue, because I don't have any issue here. And the way you refresh it is you come over here to your web services. This is where you add one, and you can import a web service easily by putting in the WSDL address. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let me move this over here. As you can see, I've got it set up to the IP address of where it is, the WSDL, and then you just let it refresh. I'm going to do an update on it. Okay, and let me check something here real quick. Okay. Okay, so let's refresh it just to make my deal. If this doesn't work, I'm going to be a little agitated because I had it working last night, and I should have just left it. Okay, let's try this again. Wrong serialization format. Just a second, guys. I'm sorry.
Wolfgang had a little note. He says, "Is the server is also put back to buffer?"
Yeah, let me. That's what I'm gonna check real quick because I thought for sure we did. Well, that's quick enough to find out. Because it will come over here to string too. We've already done that.
Look, it's a string.
Yeah, I know. No, that's a buffer, dude.
No, on it says return buffer is string.
I know that. I just did that, Arnold.
Oh, you did that. Okay.
I did that on purpose, Arnold, because I wanted to see what came back. You see what come back? It's sending me as a buffer.
Hmm.
That was done on purpose.
Okay, I wasn't looking when you changed it. Sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that it's that it was coming to me as a buffer. But let me do a couple things here. Number one, let's take that out for the moment. That was one thing I changed this morning. Recompile. And let's Just a second, guys.
I think we'd love watching you debug anyway.
Oh yeah, that's always a fun thing to do. Deal is I went through the Julia Childs method, which basically had it all working, and then of course, you know, I'll make this minor change, and let me show you how this works. Then all of a sudden you're going, hey, that ain't right.
That's life, though.
I know it. Alright, so let's see here. That's coming back correctly. Project structure. Okay. That's right. Let's make sure my deal is running here. Okay, that's right. Projects. And that's right. Okay, so everything's fine from that side of the coin. Now, I think that the structure is what got it screwed up. May have had to change my structure.
You mean what you added at the bottom?
Yeah, and I may have to, you know, do a little more work with that to see what's going on. Had a couple of issues with it not necessarily showing how much, you know, to the WAS server exactly what I was looking for anyway. And basically almost had to clear it off to start over, you know, like emptying it and starting over, which has been a little bit of a deal there. Okay, now what we can do here just to kind of give things the way it is, let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to take that out. I want to remove the services. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to re-add them again. That's a little wizard. Let me get it over here. And it's going to add all those services in there. It's imported in. Description can be viewed. Rock and roll. Okay.
You just want to show us all those steps anyway.
Yeah, but this shows you all the pieces that I got. See, and it should just show you the memory responses, the task, you know, different things that you have in there that you can use it. This is the neatest way to do it because I really like doing it this way instead of PHP method because it makes it really easy to work with. All right, so let's see now whether or not that we can get our data the way we think we're supposed to be able to get our data. Oh.
Didn't you comment that out?
Not this one.
On the other side? Didn't you comment?
Oh, yeah, the sprint. Yes, I did. I did have it commented out. It is commented out. Let's try that. Compile. WinDev itself is very good about compiling. Okay? But mobile sometimes not, especially if you get it from where you're sharing the project. And I found that mobile itself sometimes is not either. So I've gotten in a habit on both of those to go ahead and do that. All right, let's see what we got going here. Nope, still wrong.
Okay, who has the answer?
So why all of a sudden did you decide that you're not working?
Hey, it's nice having JP here because he reads this French stuff, and he just said version 18 is supposed to be 30% faster in compiling.
Thanks, JP. That's not helping me today, but it sure is. It sure is good. I'm telling you.
Oh boy.
Why don't you like this?
Yeah, he said you'll get your errors much faster.
Yeah, I'll get my errors faster. Yeah, I agree with that one. So let's see.
Hey, so when it was working last night, did you have that action type in at that time?
No, I didn't. But see, I've got it out now, so it shouldn't be a problem. ARPRG. I think it just decides it doesn't like me.
JP sees an empty line at the end of the structure. Does that affect it?
I would think not, but let's go ahead and get rid of it just for the fun of it. Let's compile this.
We just never know sometimes what the French are thinking, right, JP?
It's really kind of...
What happened there?
I just put that in front of it for the fun of it.
Oh.
See, it should return buffer PS ARPA. Okay, deserialize. That's not going to hurt anything to do that.
So what's that error down on the bottom? That not accessible?
Where?
When you were on the other side.
I don't see it.
No, there was an error, but now it's gone.
Okay, let me recompile again. No error.
Okay.
Okay. So let's try this. Yeah. That's part of the reason why I do the recompile, because sometimes it'll... Nope. It flat. Wrong serialization format.
Error at line 10.
Wrong serialization format.
What's that? What's those French words?
Let me compare this one against my other one on this side, but I think they're the same.
Click on debug and see what it comes up.
Int, string, int.
Date. 3 dates.
This is what I did. So try that.
Look pretty damn the same.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did, was I just copied from one to the other.
Wolfgang says, click on debug, see what it comes up. I don't know what stage
okay.
he's
I know what you're talking about, yeah. Just a second here, I'm gonna go ahead and publish it without that space at the bottom there.
Oh yeah, you didn't do that yet, did you?
No, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
That would be strange if that's what it was.
It would be.
That's pretty sensitive. Failed, huh?
Huh?
It says failed. Loading.
Good.
Failed.
That's okay. There you go. That's a problem.
They should make that red. Like in your face, red.
Yeah. Yeah, now it worked.
There you go. There you go. So how did you do that? What did you do?
All right. Well, let me show you what I did. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is, and Pete may be able to put some insight to this. I have not. I just something I hacked into. When you do a web service, it puts the WSDL right here. Okay. When you do the path to your service itself, it all goes underneath this directory, CCS Pro, underneath the web directory. Well, the problem is the WSDL is not there. Okay, it's not copied in there for whatever reason. Maybe you can change that on the distribution. I'm not sure, but basically all I did was copy this from here to here. And I'll bet you on the distribution of the service itself, I could change the directory and it would be fine. Okay, but at the moment, that's all I did was I copied it in there because I couldn't find it. Okay, I ran into that, and I think it has to deal with when I distributed the WAS server, it gives you the directory structure, and I think on the WSDL I needed to go in there and tell it it's one lower than what it needs to be. Okay, I think that's just all the problem that I have with it.
So, can I ask you a question on the Explorer there, where you have the web services, and if you expand that, you kind of see it twice.
What?
On the right side in the Explorer, Project Explorer.
That?
No, in the Project Explorer.
Files.
No, the Project Explorer on the right, on your.
Over here?
Yeah. So if you click that arrow.
Yeah.
And click the arrow again. So, oh wait, so why is that? Is that two different things?
Well, this is the WAS server, basically what you're calling.
Okay.
This is the global functions within it.
Oh, okay. It just happens to be the same name.
Yeah, it just happens to be the same name. Okay.
Okay.
So it's not a big deal there. And these are all the functions that you can pull from that. Okay.
Okay. What's the debugger
Hey,
say?
it works. It works now.
Yeah. So it just didn't have the WSDL in the right folder then.
That's right.
Okay.
Let me get my trace over here. As you can see right there is all of the data coming back to me. That's the array data coming back. So let me go through that just one more time with you, and I'm sorry we're kind of jumping around a bit here. Sorry, guys. I apologize for the miscommunication on the issues. All right, step. We got each one of them going. We got to make sure we got the right update of the service. So if you change something in your service, or they change something in the service, make sure that they notify you, or you notify yourself that you need to update your WSDL correctly. Okay, because that's what I did wrong. Is I didn't make sure I had the correct WSDL to work with. Okay, then you're doing buffer to buffer, and it comes back, and you call the procedure, and you're going to get your information here. This is fetch members. I'm on the wrong one. I went to go. So let's go to my project one. Okay. And let's trace that one. Let me go up here and shut off the members. There's the project. Because I don't want to go through it twice. Okay. And project right there. Shut off that one for the moment. All right. So now when we go through it, we're going to end up going through the project. Step through, array the buffer, boom. We get our buffer elements. We can see it right here. Okay. Step, got our deserialization to the array. And then we start the trace. Where's my trace window? Don't disappear on me here. There's my trace window. Okay. And we hit the go button. And then you can see all of the trace coming out. Now I know I've got my data in the array on my mobile device. Now I can start building my screens to manage that data and work with it on the mobile device from here on out. Okay, let's go back to the WAS server because I want to kind of look at that a little bit more and make sure we got our ducks in a row on that, on the web service themselves. And I may just go ahead and see if we can't resolve that permanently without me running into a big problem here. Okay, there's our WAS server. We've got everything set up. We're going to go ahead and add that field. Okay, we've added the field. All right, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go with a project class. Actually, I need to go to here. Okay, we got that all set up right. And let me do something here. We're going to generate that out. Compile. And let's go through the generation a little bit slower this time. I'm going to delete it, get rid of those, go. Deploy. Deploy. Go through the first step, and there we go. Let's see, WSDO file. That's it. You go into the web service, and we really want it to go to that one. Okay. So I'm going to take that right there, and I'm going to tell it to generate that, and I'm going to tell it to put it in there. Okay. Now let's see if it puts it in the right place. Build the package. Ooh. No, I don't like it. Set a file invalid. Okay, that's something I'm going to have to figure out then, because it don't like it.
So for now, you're going to make it a two-step process.
Yeah, and I'll figure it out and post it up there. But you can see it comes out there correctly. But to get to it directly from the website, what I'm having to do is I'm going to take this one here. As you can see, it's 3:06 p.m. I'm going to take that one and copy it and put it in here. And overwrite the one that's there. I don't particularly know why. It's something I'll have to kind of research and figure out one way or another. If somebody ever gets an idea, holler. But I'll figure it out. And it may be, I know that you can put the WSDL anywhere you want. Okay? So as long as you can get to it via an HTTP command, I can put it anywhere. Because it has a definition of where things are. But I'm not quite sure why it's giving me a failure from putting it in there. I'm not sure about that. That's something I may have to talk to PC Soft a bit about that. Okay, so I've got it there. Let's see if we can't get the other one to work right with it now that we've added the new field. Go back here. Let's go to our project class. Let's add our field there. Okay, done that. We're going to update, and it goes through, and so you can recompile. So we got our new one. We should be fine with that one. And the web service was updated correctly. So now I know my structure should match. I should be able to.
It's not case sensitive, is it?
I don't think so. But here's the project structure. Okay, so I can look at this project structure here.
Okay.
And see what it matches over here. Okay, and I can see the see what's what. I wish they would leave it in regular format instead of alphabetical, but at the moment it is what it is. But you can see my action type is now there. Okay, so since my action type is already there, I know my action type here, it should be fine as well. So now let's run this and see whether or not I get my action type like I want to without it deciding that things are incorrect. Yep, works like a charm. Okay, so I got all my stuff now. All right, my communications is set. I've got everything working like it's supposed to. I know I'm getting the data to my mobile device. Now all I have to do is write screens. I can write all the screens, make the software changes I want to, things like that, and everybody should be happy, slap happy. We're off and running, doing pretty good. Life is good. We could do whatever we need to do. Let's go to the update portion of this. Okay. Got a little project here. I've got an internal window. And inside, this is where I'm going to do my software changes. Now, I haven't sent back or told it to change anything yet. I'm sorry, wrong one. Sometimes it's Julia Child stuff's getting in the way too. I guess it must be the lack of sherry wine that I'm not drinking. That must be the deal. The update side, basically all I'm going to do is reverse the procedure. I'm going to make whatever software change I want, turn it around, and send it right back to the buffer here, deserialize it on this side, and save the record. So if I come over here to my mobile device software, and let's just go back directly into it. Let me get up a set of records here just for giggles so I can see what I need to change. I don't want to change one I ain't supposed to. Alright, so let's see here. Two would be fine. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is take the mobile. This is my change here, and I'm going to if rec dot project sysid that's not what I want. Company ID equals 1. Rec dot company name company ID. Equals 3. And then I'm going to now, this is where you got to reverse the procedure. I'm going to do a send buffer. And I'm going to serialize. The variable I'm going to serialize is going to be rec. I'm going to send it to send buffer. And it's going to PDS XML.
Don't forget your B. Send buffer.
Yeah, I saw it. It's a little harder for me to see that because it's the smallest of my 24-inch screens. I have 4 of them. I have 4 screens. I'm sorry, I got 4 screens, 24 inches each. We're all running off this laptop. As George Lehman, a friend of mine, says, I can actually launch the space shuttle and bring it back home easily. I said, yes, I can. Okay, so now what I need to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the update company. Put that right there. Okay. And I'm going to put in send buffer. Come here. And what that will do now is take that same buffer and send it back to the WAS server. It's a little hard to test it that way since it's on the web. But basically that's all I need to do is once I've changed something is serialize it and send it back. And on the other side of the coin, what it'll do is receive it here, deserialize it into the structure, and then call my save function, which solves the problem. You're done. Okay. Example code. I'm going to finish up just because I know everybody's saying, well, is there any way I can get some example code? I'm going to finish this up because this is, I kind of have a tendency to test on something that is useful for me rather than the hello world type stuff. But what I'll do is as soon as I get this all working and got it out there and doing what it's for, I will go ahead and put together a small one for working towards our chatterbox and as a web service, and allow everybody to start using it. And you'll get the example code from it. So you'll have the chatterbox example code using the web services. Does that sound good to everybody?
Anybody? Everybody?
Questions? Or is everybody morning stoned? I'm almost done with my coffee here, so.
Alan says, sounds good. And then Wolfgang says, great stuff. Thanks.
Yeah, if you need to, if you need questions, obviously I'm in the chat room even if I'm lurking half the time. But you can certainly type in the chat room and I'll be glad to to help you out with it. Deserialization, Frank, does work, but you have to do it as a buffer. Okay, you cannot use it as a string. It must be used as a buffer. So as you can see, let me show you the mobile again, just to make sure you get clarification. That does work. Let me zoom this in. Isn't it control scroll? Yeah, there it is. The deserialize does work, but you must use a buffers type. It's still XML, but it sends a buffer. It seems weird to me too, Frank. To be honest with you, it's a little bit weird to me because I was assuming when we were at GGIE, because I was trying to, I thought it would deserialize on that part, but it wouldn't deserialize it as an XML, which would have been my first inclination of what it should do. I send it as an XML. If I deserialize it, it should deparse the XML just like I did, and put it in the item since it has all the elements. And it is something that I'm going to send off to PCSoft, because it seems to me kind of, well, you went the hard way first instead of the easy way. Because nobody sends, oh, okay, I can't say nobody. The majority of people do not send from web services serialization in a buffer. They send it as XML. So, the other clue that made me think that it was a string coming to me is the fact is you could only use PDS or PSD XML as the type. XML is a string, ergo you think it's a string is what you need. That was the reason why it was incorrect. I in essence stumbled across this last night because I was trying to get the deserialization to work, and it kept saying me no syntax is compatible, which is what kind of a Fringlish error in my book, because it needs to say, sorry, hey, bonehead, you can only use buffer on an Android device. Okay? Now, you watch, and they'll have deserialization for XML in version 18, and it will no longer be an issue. Which, and frankly, is my preference. Because if there's something that that way I send it out of my web service the same way all the time. I don't have options. Okay. Right now, as a buffer, you're kind of say if you send it out as buffer only, then that means only WebDev devices or WebDev software can undo it without a lot of work. So I kind of want to try to stay with straight XML. Okay. And if you still want it encrypted, okay. The XML would be Unicode. So it's kind of default that way, I think, Frank. The thing about the XML and doing it as ASCII or Unicode or straight text is that I can still encrypt it between my WebDev devices and open it up to the open ones just by having a secondary switch in the call. With the buffer, it's mine only, and I have to send a switch to tell it to send it alternate. So what I may end up doing as far as this project is concerned is set it up to where you have a switch that tells you that you want it as a buffer and send it as straight XML every time, and then only returning as a buffer if if you request it that way. That's one of the things I'm going to try to do. So my next step with this is I'm going to finish all of these calls. Okay. Good question, Frank. I'm not really sure. So in the buffer is imported as ASCII automatic conversion. I don't think you have to. You can specify. If you don't specify, it returns it as ASCII. If I got it right, but you can specify it as Unicode or specify it as ASCII. Like I said, my next step is I finish all of these different items here to make sure the data goes back and forth, and that's really my next goal, is to get that part finished. And that'll allow me then to go back and forth, and I know all my data's working, then I'll work on the screens and things like that is what we'll go through next. Pete, you sleep?
No, just battling 2012 before I destroy that server. I'm trying a couple more hacks at it.
Yeah.
Andy, did you want a webcam in?
Yes. I want to show you something here, Dan. Okay, for all those that have seen me, as you can see, I now have my shirt.
I don't know about anybody else, but I don't see nothing.
As we say, you don't see the
No,
Be
did
good,
you
be
start
good
the webcam? Did you start the webcam?
I guess not. Let me try that. There we go. All I can say is be good or be good at it.
Did you write that on there?
No, I can order the shirt. I ordered the shirt.
What's it say on top next to the right of the logo?
That says Cowboy Computing Solutions.
Oh, okay.
That's what that says.
And it's in Texas orange?
That's right. It is definitely University of Texas orange. So, there you go. Be good or be good at it. That's all I can say. Shirts are on sale. For all those out there, shirts are now on sale.
Hey, show us your 4 monitors, man.
I don't know that I can do that. I don't.
That's right.
It's part of my laptop here.
I guess you need a mirror, huh?
Just a second. Hang on. I might be able to do this anyway.
So, any other questions for Andy while he's not listening? Just type it in. Or if you have a mic, let me know if you want to mic up.
This is either going to work or it's going to blow chunks entirely. We'll see.
You got another camera?
Yeah. Well, give me a choice.
Well, there on the bottom it says your devices.
Yeah, no. I want to see. It's putting in.
JP, do you have a mic? JP, try and put your mic on. Just go up to meeting and walk through the wizard
Can you hear me?
Then you can talk.
Yeah, I heard you, JP.
No, I dared say H
Speak
declare
up.
new fig, comma, existing WDD name, bracket, end. That's all I said. And you understand.
Oh. Yes, I do. I know. In other words, do it today, Andy. That was my reminder.
You asked me for a reminder. I send it over.
Thank you, JP. I mean, that's we deal with the fact that that the highest fire is usually the one that gets put out first.
No worries at all. I'm still writing the docs here, so.
Okay. Let me see. Where is? I need to find what changes my camera, which one uses. Anybody know where that is in control panel?
Just take your laptop and turn it around to look at your monitors.
It's in a docking station. It's in a docking station, so if I pull that off of there, I'm in trouble. Let's see here. Power option display.
You Texas guys don't know how to turn Sorry.
Turntables?
You know, it's
all the cords are off the blasted thing. It ain't gonna
turning
work.
table is
Have all kinds of problems.
forget it.
Huh? It'd be a mess if I did that. I know it's here somewhere.
Anybody else want to mic up or show their face?
Pete, is this something you've had to fire with? No. I know there's one here.
If you hit the down arrow next to the webinar thing, I mean the webcam, and hit preferences. Did you try that?
Down arrow next to the webcam. Okay, let me see here. So now it just says start.
No, not up on the top line. You know where there's the speaker, mic, and the
camera. There we go. It only shows an integrated camera though.
Oh well.
So I was figuring I'd have to change my camera type. That was, I have to change it to an external camera on my computer, is what I was thinking. Let's try here.
So any other questions for Andy while he's playing around here? Anybody on his classes, on anything?
Yeah.
Bonjour, John. I had not seen
John,
you.
Jerry. Oh, you want him to mic up?
Who's that?
Anybody?
SQL.
Jack, if I was buying an Android today, test with what would you recommend?
I don't know. Jack, go walk across the room and get your mic. God dang it. Okay, he's going to get it. Oh, what are you going to get? The Nexus 7?
I'd mic things loose. So I got the Motorola Zoom. That's because they develop it on there. So that's the reason why I got it. But I mean, it really is whatever you want it to be. It kind of depends. If you're just going to do testing with it, there's some cheap ones up there that don't do squat. In fact, Tiger Direct was selling one for $79 and $99. So
Might as well get a Nexus 7 for $199.
well, it kind of depends on what you want to do here.
So, is it restricted to an Android version?
What is?
I mean, does it work better with different Android versions, like ice
No, I don't
cream?
think so. No, I don't think so.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you design your screens to be what the screens is. What I try to do is get my data layer all working first. Okay?
Okay.
And if I get my data layer working, then I don't have anything to worry about. Okay?
Yeah, because like you said, the UIs.
I know how I can do this. It's one thing about technology.
Yeah, what happened to your automatic stuff? Remote.
Well, you watch.
I can't imagine what kind of remote stuff you have on your bike.
I don't have any remote on my bike. That'd be dangerous. That would be thoroughly dangerous. Wow, I don't know a way to do this, guys. I'm sorry.
Next time.
Yeah, I'll figure out how to get the secondary camera to work, because I need to get it working anyway, because when we start getting into the mobile, you want to be able to see the mobile, and there's got to be a way to turn on a secondary camera. Wait a minute. I forgot my friend. I forgot the deal there.
Arnold, there's a question from Frank in the chat.
Andy, can you see the...
Was my recommended methods to download applications into the program? I literally use there was a couple. In fact, who was it? somebody was looking for one. I've got one. All it is a wireless FTP transfer, is what it is. You can hook it up directly into your system if you want to. But I use, there's a wireless FTP. There's several of them out there to do wireless FTP. If you have Dropbox or BusyBox or one of those, you can transfer it that way as well, and then you just double click on it and it installs. But I use the other one. I use the wireless FTP. Now, once you got it all working right, you go from there.
So do you want to see my my app? I'll show you my app on my desktop here.
Yeah.
You see that?
Uh-uh.
Oh, I gotta start sharing.
I was gonna say who's gonna help you. Well, ain't you special?
So that's on my my iPad.
Yeah.
See that? I gotta hold. So I'm gonna go click on that. Is that good?
Well, you're running it as RDP though, aren't you?
Oh no,
You didn't build that. I know you didn't.
that's my app.
Yeah, you used RDP on your iPad. That's what you did.
No, it's not RDP.
What is it?
I won't lie, so I won't say anything. All right. You want me to show you it on my Mac too?
Yeah, it's using RDP though.
This? There it is, right there. That's not RDP.
What is that?
I'll tell you someday, but I'm not
Okay,
going
you
to
do
tell you
that.
today.
You do that.
Yeah, okay, I'm turning my cam off. Oof. I was killing time so you could show yours.
If I can figure out hardware sometimes.
You're going to do it some other time then.
Yeah, just for some reason.
Okay, so if there's no other questions, we can just stop the recording, or what do you want to do?
Where's my XP version of where things are? No, that's not it.
So what you going to show next time?
I think that what we'll do is we'll go ahead and show a couple of screens running.
Okay.
Make changes to the software, show it being changed in the database. We'll do this web conferencing, maybe it's there. Camera settings. Man, whatever reason is, I can't get it to recognize that other camera to use it. It's not like video. Anyway, I know I can take a picture and put it up on my webpage.
Okay. Man, you're so analog.
I mean, I'm just like so far behind the times, you know. Anyway.
Except for your barbecue.
Wait a minute.
There you go.
Just a sec.
Oh,
Share
let me
my
move this other camera.
Share my screen.
No, your screen is shared, so let me just
see
move
that?
Yeah.
You can see
There
my
you go.
monitors there.
Yeah, we do.
And there's my laptop.
Yeah, what a baby.
Yeah, that's what you guys are looking at is that one. And then I'm looking at all those. So, yes, I got them.
God, you got them driving 4 of them, huh? Wow.
Yeah, what it is the laptop itself can drive 2. Okay? And then the docking station has a USB 3.0 slot in it. So I've got this, I bought this 3.0 splitter here, as you can see. And it splits one as HDMI and the other one DVI.
Oh, I got one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And that allows me to drive the other two.
Wow.
And with that one there, it was like $69 for it. Actually does the high res. I can get the 1900 resolution.
So that's why you do all your VMs or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, I throw stuff at the top that I need to keep watching, and I usually have 2 or 3 WinDevs going. Like when we're talking about this morning, I'm running a WebDev, a WinDev, and a mobile all at the same time. So I got one on 3 screens. I got one on each screen. Is what I'm.
Oh, that's easier to work with instead of not going down below like you were doing, having to do. Yeah. Wow. Looks like I got to go turn one more on.
You see, I've got the main screen there with the code, but over here I've got all the windows, the debug windows, and everything else is running on that one for right now. That's what I've done. So I got that one set up.
Sweet.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. Anybody else want to show their setup?
Eye on you.
Oh, wait, let me take a picture.
No.
All right.
Just saying.
So say your thing, and I'm going to stop the recording.
All right, like I said, next time we'll finish up and work on, I'll have all the data working back and forth. If you have any questions on getting this data back and forth, holler. I will help you get through it. Screen designs and stuff like that with the mobile device, I'm going to be honest with you. It's mainly loopers that you work with, so it's just really not that much rocket science. I know one I am going to build, and it's probably going to be one of the slicker ones. Everybody over the years have seen the form with the little arrows that allows you to, rotate through records. Previous record, next record. Everybody's remember those.
Yeah,
All
VCR.
Parts ought to remember those. The VCR buttons with the deal. I'm going to have one screen that's built that way. Okay.
There you go.
And what that allows, with a drop list on it of which record that I want to work with, and that's going to be my task screen. What I'll have is a. I'm looking at building this just to kind of give you a deal here where basically there'll be a list on this side or a list up here.
Kind of like a split view, right? So
kind of. So I got to have a list here of all of the tasks, and then have all the fields of the task here and underneath. So what happens is when I turn it sideways, because I only, my actual environment for running the mobile device is not vertical, it's horizontal. Then this here will flip over and come across the side on this, and I'll have all the entry fields going, up to down here for the task, and I can click on each one of those and show it on the task screen and work with it and do time and everything with it is what I plan on doing.
Like
That'd be pretty cool.
Like hot fields, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool, and it'll allow me to do quite a bit. I'm hoping one of the suggestions I put in is to allow them, because right now they show everything as vertical on these screens. I would like for them to show them or be able to flop it horizontal as well, because in a lot of business applications, you're not really doing that much vertical. You're doing more horizontal than vertical.
Sure.
Yep. And on your stuff. Now there's phone type stuff, but I think that in order to do this properly, let's say I'm looking at a phone and I've got my iPhone or my real phone with me, and I need to look at something on it. I may have it as a configuration that this is a phone instead of a pad. And that changes the look and does it a little bit different. so that way it has a better rendering on a phone versus a pad. So that's all into it. I'm gonna get into it quite a bit because I think there's a tremendous amount of capabilities and opportunities in the mobile area. Now, obviously, if anybody wants to send me a Windows 8 tablet, I'll be glad to test on it for them.
You can start with the Surface.
Yeah, well, some lawyer's suing them. You know that? Because he got right off the bat, he got the Surface, he got a 32 gig or 16 gig or 32 gig Surface, and found out the operating system took up 16 gigs of it.
Yo.
Yeah, that the OS was taking up 16 gigabytes of the overall memory that you have in there. So if you have a 32 gig system, you only have 16 because the OS is taking up 16.
Well, that kind of kills that, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's my understanding. So he wasn't real happy about that. No, I wouldn't be either. I mean, we're talking about code bloat. So you would think that they would have their own allocated memory for that and leave you your 32 all by yourself, but no. Anyway, all I can say is any questions, holler at me. I'll be glad to go there.
Alrighty.
Help you.
Thanks a lot, man, Andy. Appreciate it.
Be good at it. Have fun this